I have had some conversations with Noyan Ahmed the atheist. I have presented them here. Take 5 minutes to read them. Noyan Ahmed Adab brother, how are you? Above I saw you gave 10 reasons why a prophet can never do this. Sorry to say, the way you presented 10 points is nothing but lies. The fact that you have set it up in such a way that you have made up words and stories like yourself shows how much you are lying. In fact, the way you lied by using words and words like your own, without telling a detailed story like your own, shows what kind of person you are. That's how dishonest and liars they are. Atheist's trick of lying is that they change one thing little by little. Change it to another meaning or to another line. Smoking here, otherwise 20 rupees fine. The meaning of the sentence is changing to change the place of a little comma. So when atheists lie about Islam, they present the story in their own words and in their own language without telling a detailed story, without telling any background. This is how they lie. Lying is their profession. Have you ever read Islam in your life? You will sometimes misunderstand Islam by seeing the way anti-Islamic media presents the whole story without telling the whole story and using words like their own. Just learning copy-paste. Read Islam well by yourself. Anti-Islamists are getting these false information from different channels and they are presenting it like that, making white things black. If you lie like this, you can't tell when you will be beaten up by the public. The Prophet is the one who thought about the peace of his ummah at stake and implemented it peace. The Prophet is the one who sacrificed his life and his own needs to establish peace in the world by fighting against those who disobeyed the rules of peace. He is the Prophet who remained silent despite enduring unbearable torture. A Prophet is one who preaches the message of the Creator without thinking about his own life. He remains steadfast on that path. The Prophet is the one who, when he is victorious i.e. able to establish peace Islam and succeeds, avenges the torture on his oppressors and the anti-peace i.e. peace disobedience mushriks, pagans, infidels of Makkah and the killing of many of his companions. He forgave them all. He is the Prophet who has shown this shining example of forgiveness also on the pagans of Makkah, the infidels. The polytheists and infidels who tortured the Prophet intolerable, he forgave them all after the conquest of Makkah. Only the Prophet can forgive people like this. Now if any one of us oppresses it, the oppressor roasts his quadriceps while the oppressor wins and holds the power. Now if one scolds someone, I am just talking about abuse, so the one who abused him, the one who scolded, will be beaten to death. There is no mentality of forgiveness in people. People of today do not have this great quality. Humiliation, torture and murder are not revenged by everyone, but only the Prophet can forgive them. Which Prophet did? The Prophet is the one who gave up biological needs to propagate the religion of God and spread that religion to the world. He who sacrifices his biological needs to promote peace Islam among his ummah and the people of the whole world and so that it reaches all people. Noyan Ahmed brother, have you ever read anything about Islam? If not, read it. When Prophet began to give the invitation to Islam, the invitation to peace in Makkah, he started working to establish peace. When he started working to convey the message of God to the people, then the mushriks, infidels, pagans of Makkah who were called alaman, called superstitious, those mushriks, infidels and pagans of Makkah started to torture Prophet into unbearable torture. Even to kill him, many mushriks, infidels, pagans started walking. The main reason for this torture is to express correct religious beliefs and correct opinions against the common religious beliefs of mushriks. For and to convey it to others, because of which the amount of torture on Prophet had to endure is more or less known by everyone. Even liars like you also know it. Those who are impartial have read all the life stories of Prophet and ranked him #1 in the world. You do a Google search by typing, world's greatest man. See top this is Google and Prophet's name. So, when a person in a nation are oppressed, suffering, when the life of a nation including their own life is taken ready for killing, who sits? If someone is sitting then he is not a man. For example, think about our great liberation war. In order to occupy the territory of our country, East Pakistan at that time, the Pakistani invading forces started to torture, exploit, oppress and kill the people of this country. What should be done when the existence of oneself and the existence of one's own nation is towards extinction? In such a situation of Bengalis, a great leader came to the side of Bengalis, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. Which can be compared to jihad, defense. A person's age is 25, a young man. A young man of 25 years will have a beautiful perfect young woman for him. Virgin young woman. A young man can kill everyone to get such a beautiful perfect young woman. Nowadays there are some young men who would even kill their parents for this. Can put in an old age home, can even kill a 25-year-old young man who has his mind set on a perfect beautiful young woman. He is all about this young woman, which you also know. You know that he can kill his friend for this young woman. So if this young man is told that there is a helpless and widowed woman, who is 15 years older than him, she has many problems. That widow woman is an unvirgin woman. If you marry a woman who has given birth twice before, then these problems and troubles will be removed. Yes, so the man who proposed this to his 25-year-old man, hearing this, the 25-year-old man would say, "You son of a bitch, what did you say? A widow, unvirgin woman, and a woman who has given birth twice before, I will never marry such a woman. No, even if she is my age, I will not marry, I will use second-hand things no, never, and there is no question of her being 15 years older than me, even if she is a virgin, I will not marry her. I don't care what happens to it, I dream of a beautiful young woman like Alia Bhatt, for whom I can do anything, and you choose me who is old, 40 years old, mature, unvirgin. She doesn't care about other people to marry. My life revolves around beautiful young women like Alia Bhatt. For this 25-year-old youth sometimes destroys the rights of his parents. I told this story about an ordinary 25-year-old youth. Only the Prophet can think about the welfare of his ummah, thinking about the welfare of others, giving up his own biological needs and spending his life in youth with a widow woman from 25 to 50 years. During this time, he did not marry more. He thought that people who can sacrifice his biological needs for the welfare of his ummah. No common man can. Above I have talked about a common youth of 25 years. I told what a normal 25-year-old does. The Prophet is the one who sacrificed his biological needs for the peace of his ummah in the entire world. The Prophet is the one who thought about the rights of the people of the whole world without thinking about his own rights, thought about how the people of the whole world can live in peace, and implemented them. He is the one who does these things. He is the Prophet. Which Prophet did? How much the people who destroyed the peace, i.e. the people who violated the peace, tortured him, put the pulse on his back while he was in prayer, yet the Prophet forgave them, a great act of forgiveness that only a Prophet can do. The Prophet is the one who gave the status of his wife to the helpless woman who was captured in the war. The woman who was captured in the war was also very happy, and could not think who would give the status of a wife to someone as helpless as her. They were very happy to be Mu'minin. Of all the wives of Prophet, all of them were widows except for Mother Aisha. There are many important reasons behind every marriage of Prophet. Through the marriages, many wars and fights are ended. From whose society, through marriages, prejudices are removed from the society. It was common in the society that foster son means own son, but science tells us foster son can never be own son. In order to give this scientific concept to the people of the society, to convey the prejudices prevalent among the people of the society, the right ideas and prejudices among the people of the society, the prejudices that used to eat away at the people of that time, for the prejudices that caused various attacks and troubles at that time. This marriage was to give a practically clear concept about the superstition which was the root of social disorder. Every marriage of Prophet was for Islam, to establish peace in the society. Rasulullah had many great reasons behind every marriage. Every work of Prophet was for the welfare of people, to convey the message of truth to every person. If a person takes a helpless woman as his wife, then by nature we call him a very good man, who is marrying that helpless girl without knowing whether she is a child or a virgin, taking responsibility for her maintenance and sheltering her. And given her the status of a wife. It is thought that there are very few people in our society, because there are no such good people in our society, because most of them are self-centered. Let me give an example. This is that. Don't you see the sufferings of the Rohingyas who came to our country Bangladesh? Now people like Noyan Ahmed will think that if they see these hardships and sufferings, they will think that what is the suffering for me? Exclamation mark. And if someone in the society, someone like Noyan Ahmed says, brother, this Rohingya woman is very helpless. If you please take the responsibility of supporting the woman, and also give her the status of your wife, then the woman will be freed from this helplessness, hunger, hardship and suffering. It would be of great benefit to her. The woman also wished that there would be someone in the coastal region who would remove my helplessness and grant me the status of his wife. Now if people like Noyan Ahmed are told, you feel the pain of this woman, give her the status of your wife and take responsibility for her maintenance and free her from helplessness, free her from the status of a prisoner of war. In this proposal, people like Noyan Ahmed will say, bitch, so widow, non-virgin, then how much older than me? Hey, my age, beautiful but non-virgin, then marriage is far away. Don't even say that. Noyan atheist man like Ahmed is 25 years old. His youth is now, youth period, when he is attracted to a beautiful, sexy with virgin woman, who is 23, 22 or the same age as Noyan Ahmed. He can give water to everyone including brothers, sisters and relatives to get. His mentality is like that. Even some Noyan Ahmed can end his parents for that girl. To get that girl, he only cares about his own affairs. Who cares about it? No, Noyan Ahmed has no headache about that. He just gets his stuff, okay, be it killing people and whatever. Actually not only Noyan Ahmed, all 25-year-olds are like that. If this 25-year-old man is told that if you marry a mature woman who is 15 years older than you, it will benefit him and many in the society, then the 25-year-old man will say, Dear Shalar Put, I am dreaming of a girl like Alia Bhatt and you, what a fool. Marry a non-virgin woman, never. Almost all 25-year-olds say the same thing. But there was only one person in history, and he was the Prophet. He is our beloved Hazrat Muhammad, may God bless him and grant him peace, who has given up all his desires, possessions, greed, everything to spread the word of God, to spread Islam, to establish peace in the society. Noyan Ahmed, brother, if you know about Islam or read history, then you must know that when Prophet started preaching the message of Islam in Makkah, the wealthy pagans there forbade him from spreading the message of Islam to the people. He said to the Prophet, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, that you return to us and do not preach these words of Islam. You will be given everything in Arabia, power, wealth, beautiful women, you will take them, return to our way and preach Islam. Turn off. The pagans made this offer to Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. Prophet was refusing their offer and told them that even if they bring the moon in one hand and the sun in the other hand, I will not stop from preaching Islam. Can you imagine it, man? I again say, hey anti-Islamic people, can you imagine it? The Prophet is the one who is steadfast in the path of God and preaches the message of God, to establish the religion of God, to establish peace in the society, and to think about the people of the society and sacrifices even his own biological needs. He is the Prophet, who is different from everyone else. Because if this proposal was given to Noyan Ahmed, then atheists like Noyan Ahmed would have immediately agreed to the words of the pagans for the greed of beautiful women and wealth. Noyan Ahmed, who is not well himself, is talking about our beloved prophet, the liver of 180 million people. I don't know whether to laugh or cry. This religion called atheism is made by man, whose purpose is to destroy the society by removing peace from the society. Noyan Ahmed, brother, you don't know the history of Rasulullah's life. Do you know what was the condition of Arabia before Rasulullah came to earth? Do you know how girls were married at that time? Do you know how girls were treated at that time? Do you know about the biography of Rasulullah? Have you ever read his complete biography? You only know how to copy and paste and make up words like your own, tell your own story, tell beautiful lies. I know.